What's up, y'all? So today in this video, or this workout, I'm actually using weights, and not only am I using weights, for pull-ups or chin-ups, I'm also using, just weights, like in general, lifting weights. But that's not until like the very end of the workout. And so, why I'm reintroducing weights into my training routine is because I want to kind of actually set a goal for myself and to set up just something for myself so my training can feel a bit more meaningful. Like I'm actually training for a specific reason or a specific goal. So in this case, I'm doing weighted chin ups. The grip, I just have my hands close because I find that grip to be the most comfortable on my wrist. I remember when I would do weighted chin ups before and having the just standard like shoulder width grip, that would kind of put a lot of strain on my wrist and whatnot. And it would kind of, I think it would give me some type of like wrist tendonitis whenever I go and do chin ups. But having the closer grip, I don't have that problem whatsoever at all. And I just kind of like doing the closer grip. I've been doing chin ups, just bodyweight chin ups with a closer grip for a while now. So I'm just kind of used to that. And so here I'm doing 3 sets, 50 pounds. And what my top set, my first set was about 7 reps, if I'm not mistaken. It was either 6 or 7 reps. You can probably go back and count if you want. And yeah, and I get more and more shirtless after each set, by the way. So I did a lot of new movements, which I might have not, I wouldn't say a lot of new movements, but there is one movement in particular I don't think I've done on this channel. And it comes like right after this last set. So I'm just thinking like, okay, what movements can I do to make my weighted chin up better? Like what muscle groups can I train to make the weighted chin up better? And I'm like, okay, so if I want a better weighted chin up, then I should do something like curls because your chin ups very, very much recruit your biceps. And then do something for the lats. So kind of like something kind of like a pull down or something like a a front lever pull, which is a movement that I do after this last set, and then some rows just to kind of like get your upper back in there. So I'm doing these front lever pulls. I haven't done any like serious like front lever pulls in my training. I do remember when I was training for the front lever, and I would do these a lot, but I find them to be a bit more useful with me kind of like, looking at the range of motion on a chin up and seeing how you kind of bring your elbows in towards your torso, and that recruits a lot more of your lats. So I'm just thinking like, okay, well, what movement is similar to that, but an isolation movement, and that would be like a lat pull down, or not a pull down, a lat pull over, or a front lever pull. And so then I do these ring rows. I really make sure I keep a straight torso, and I really squeeze at the back, make sure my chest is proud. Now, a row here, it won't really carry over too much, I feel like, to a weighted chin up, besides like your upper back muscles, like your rear delts and your traps and whatnot, and your rhomboids being kind of more of like supportive muscles when it comes to doing the chin up. I also did the front lever pulls and the rows supersetted. I just did 2 sets of each. I didn't find any type of problems or issues when it came to doing either of the movements supersetted. None of them impeded because they're kind of two completely different movements. Almost like none of the muscles besides my grip, but my grip is fine, right? So almost none of the muscles that include my the movements I would do in a row or I would do in a front lever pull. None of those muscles kind of cross over with each other, especially with the way I'm doing the rows. I'm making sure I'm in like a 45-degree angle so it only targets my upper back and gets like little to no lats. So, I'm all gravy, baby. And after this, I did curls. And so I did barbell curls. That's when I actually started lifting weights. You're going to see here in a second. I did 2 25s. I did it with the easy bar curl. and I did, you know, 225s on each side. So I don't know exactly how much pounds that is. I think that's maybe with the bar itself, I think that's possibly around 70 pounds, 74, 75 pounds maybe. And so I haven't done curls in a minute, and sometimes I kind of think about curls. You know, sometimes I lay in bed and I dream about curls. But I'm like, well, I'm doing calisthenics, so I can't do curls. But hey, I'm gonna do curls because I feel like it's a much easier way to isolate my biceps that can go towards my chin ups. So therefore, it's like, you know, I'm not taxing the rest of my body, because even with like a pelican curl or a ring curl, you're still getting like more of your shoulders working. You're still getting your traps getting stretched and whatnot. And, you know, you have to get in these more stretched positions. But if I'm just doing some barbell curls, then no biggie. I also, on the second set, I also did them close grip, since I know that I'm training the chin ups close grip. You know, I don't know if that's going to have any much bigger effect. To me, intuitively, it just kind of makes sense. Like, okay, if I'm going to, you know, emulate the chin up movement or whatever, then it would make sense for me to do close grip, you know. So I'm just like, okay, yeah, maybe that's going to work. Maybe it doesn't. But I'm probably just going to stick to standard grip. Maybe every now and then I will switch up the variation of the curl, but I just want to make sure that it's going to be relevant to my training when it comes to a weighted chin up. And then here, the last thing that I did, it was pinwheel curls, but I did it with a ring, and I had the weight kind of dangling off of the ring. So therefore, the resistance curve kind of changed, because at the very bottom, the weight is hanging from your knuckles. And then at the very top, the weight is kind of hanging from like a diagonal angle from your wrist. So therefore, you kind of have to make sure you don't break your wrist. Kind of like something you might see like an arm wrestler do, to get incredibly like strong forearms and whatnot, and incredibly strong wrists. So then their wrists don't break when they're doing, you know, arm wrestling and whatnot. I kind of got this idea from this one calisthenics street lifter. I think he's Russian. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But he kind of trained with rings in a similar way by attaching them to weights. And now you can kind of, it's kind of like as if I'm training with a kettlebell without actually, you know, using a kettlebell or having a kettlebell. So I just want to state my actual purpose or goals when it comes to, you know, why I'm going to be transitioning into weighted. So again, like, I feel like if I'm going to go for some type of goal, something that can maybe be a bit more simpler in terms of numbers. So that would either be trying to do more reps or either trying to do more weight. And I'm kind of thinking about doing more weight. And so I want to, let's say, I want to get to about 130 pounds for 3 reps on the chin up. For the dips, I don't have that figured out yet. And for the squat, I don't have that figured out yet. But I know everything. I know I want everything to be in about the 3 rep range. I don't really care too much about like 1 rep maxes and things like that. That's not really, it's not just an interest of mine. But I do want to kind of make my training be more purposeful. So now every movement I do, every little thing I do is going to be going towards getting, you know, certain movements bigger, right? So the big 3 for me is like the chin up, dip, and squat. Chin up, dip, squat, chin up, dip, squat, right? Those are the things that I'm interested in. Those are calisthenics, and I will be doing them weighted. So I want to go for 130 pounds, weighted chin up for 3 reps, right? 130 pounds plus my body weight.